This week, a Quebec Superior Court announced that the City of Montreal will have to pay victims of systemic racial profiling by police. Now, that news was met with relief by some and pushback by others who claim that this will somehow hinder police work. Here with more on what legally constitutes racial profiling and who can claim what and how is constitutional lawyer and political commentator Frédéric Bérard. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks to you, Joanne.
Okay, let's talk first of all. When we say racial profiling, because this is huge, right? Victims of this can potentially get up to $5,000, is what is being reported. Is there a legal definition for racial profiling, or is it something you feel?
Well, that's a pretty good question, because the jurisprudence is starting to define the concept itself. It's been a while that the court discussed the said concept, but it's a bit subjective sometimes. But now it's getting more and more clear, and the decision you talked about from the Superior Court is very eloquent about it, in the sense that racial profiling is the fact that some police, a lot of policemen actually, will stop people, will arrest people based on bias. And what are those bias? For instance, the fact that if you're a black person driving, I don't know, let's say a Porsche, for instance, well, for them it doesn't make sense at all. So they want to make sure that you did not steal the car. So all those kind of bias and préjugés, as we say in French, that we had for so many years, and it has been proved, and this is important to say that racial profiling is existing within the police, and one of the most important guy who said it is Fabi Daguerre, who's the chief of the SPVM. So I guess that he knows about. He said
he knows what he's talking about.
He said very clearly that his policemen do practice racial profiling, and he said it in front of the court. So I guess that the chief of police of Montreal has a very good clue what's happening within his team, right?
So the fact that this class action lawsuit ended in this way, right? The initial claim was at $171 million from La Ligue des Noirs du Québec, asking for this historic judgment. What is your reaction to hearing that you can claim up to $5,000? And how exactly, did you have to be part of that class action to claim it? Or can you now sort of retroactively go back and say, hey, this happened to me on this day, I would like some compensation?
Yes, what I understood from the judgment is that you can join even now. Actually, those who did join in the past are eligible. And it's pretty easy. You just have to demonstrate that you have been the victim of that kind of racial profiling. It's pretty easy to do, obviously. Is $5,000 too much? I would say that $5,000 is not enough, but that's my own opinion. But when you take a look at the global amount, I think that it sends a very clear message to the police. And the message from the court is the following: racial profiling and systemic racism are not accepted in our society. So you need to comply to the Charter of Rights, and the Charter of Rights are telling you that you cannot discriminate people on color or whatever.
It's interesting. We're speaking with constitutional lawyer and political commentator Frédéric Bérard about this landmark, we should call it, ruling by the Quebec Superior Court here on racial profiling. Because I went to law school, so I think this is all very interesting as I'm reading this. Is it difficult to prove? Because in my head, I'm guessing the police would say, well, no, I didn't stop X person because they were driving the Mercedes. I stopped them because, they went past the stop sign or something like that. How difficult is it to prove? I mean, we see that it worked in this class action lawsuit, but on an individual basis, is it difficult to prove?
When I said it was easy to do, is that because of the shift from the jurisprudence, as I discussed earlier, and the shift in question is based on expertise from la Commission des droits de l'homme, des droits de la personne du Québec, for instance, from expertise from the Commission canadienne des droits de la personne, and those expertise are pretty
clear. Are they clear?
Yeah, they're clear, and it's obvious that if you're a black person, for instance, or an Arabic, or
anyone of color, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's say that way is going to be faster. You have 10 to 15 more chances to get arrested for no reason while you're driving.
Wow.
So, I mean, obviously, those policemen can say, the thing that you just mentioned. Well, I did have some rational grounds, blah blah blah. But we all know right now, because of those expertise, that this is just excuses. And the court decided that those bias really exist, and we need to fight them because they are contrary to the Charter of Rights.
Constitutional lawyer and political commentator Frédéric Bérard, thank you so much for taking the time. We'll speak again next week.
My pleasure always.